So you guys all ready? Yeah, thanks for waiting. Okay, so welcome, thanks for coming. We have a few words here from some people who participated in the occupation against the Hanaki Business Park, as well as Jim Bogart and two folks from the hoskanigetah who will all speak for themselves. But a few words from our perspective as participants in the occupation and participants in organizing around this issue for a length of time now. In response to Donna Canfield's letter, we wonder what has changed between July 31st letters from the MNR and the August 14th to provoke such a drastic change of opinion. Is the minister truly convinced that building a culvert and allowing heavy machinery to travel less than 40 meters away from a potential Jefferson Salamander breeding pool is in any way going to help preserve Jefferson Salamander habitat? Furthermore, how is it the ministry has completely changed its position since the letter of May 25th and July 31st, in which they clearly state that no infrastructure development should occur until there's been adequate surveying of vernal pools in order to identify breeding pools and habitat. In the May 25th letter of the MNR states, the development of Road A should not proceed until the site has been re-examined for potential Jefferson Salamander habitat. In the July 31st letter, they state, the ministry notes that Road A, the road that's currently being used from McWilliams to the construction site, is directly adjacent to breeding habitat survey 2, a certain vernal pool, and is therefore well within 300-meter radius of potential breeding habitat. They continue, the ministry is not in a position to support the continued construction of municipal services for the HCBP in the absence of complete information regarding the extent of Jefferson Salamander habitat. And that complete information regarding the extent of Jefferson Salamander habitat is impossible to determine at this point, which also contradicts the Environmental Advisory Committee's opinion that nothing should continue until they confirm the presence or absence of the Jefferson Salamander. So a lot has changed and we're thinking something fishy is going on.
So, despite the minister's decision not to issue a work stop order, we maintain that any infrastructure development in this area will be detrimental to the Jefferson Salamander habitat, but and also to the lives and homes of all other creatures that make up this complex ecosystem. We continue to oppose this development for the sake of the threatened species, but also for the same reasons that people have been opposing to the HCBP for almost a decade now. The city is planning to excavate the Paris-Galt moraine, to pave over hundreds of acres of wetlands and meadows, and to put our drinking water at risk. And while this is happening, there's hundreds of potential sites to build that nobody's interested in. So it's recognized that it's an insane waste of money, but like a stubborn dinosaur of the industrial era, the city wants to plow ahead. We need to start looking as a city as what's more sustainable. The forest, the meadows, and the wetlands can provide food, medicine, and water for generations to come, whereas this project only provides 2 years of economic growth. And when you start looking at this, it starts to look insane. So we need to start questioning the direction in which the city and the world itself is going in, and what we're actually going to do to stop it.
My name is Iwatnehitne Skorori, Haudenosaunee, the Grand River Territory, hoskanigetah. I'd like to read a letter dated August 10th that was delivered to the City Hall here, to whom it may concern. The hoskanigetah, the men of the Grand River, have received information about the development of your city. The information has cause for much concern to us. We have people who have come to us for help, with the most important issue for us is the environment. The environment concerns should be first and foremost on everyone's minds, especially with the development of a wetland that the city is willing to risk. The endangered species and animals that will be affected, cutting down of precious trees that we as humans need to survive, cannot be tolerated any longer. We as Onwe men will not support any development that destroys wetlands, as this affects everyone downstream more so than the corporate world realizes. Groundwater that is naturally filtered through a wetland is much more beneficial than water that is run off cement, asphalt, houses, and other structures. Ask Branford. They have been responsible for killing the cold streams, fish, and plant life. when all the runoff was diverted into natural habitat. The Hanlon Creek is a tributary of the Grand River, which will affect everyone and everything downstream of your development. The people of 6 nations of the Grand River Territory have had enough bad water and pollution, which is making its way into our territory. Therefore, the hoskanigetah orders the Corporation of the City of Guelph to cease and desist the development of the Hanlon Creek Business Park. Sincerely, the hoskanigetah of the Grand River Territory.
Sego, Janada, Ungo Hoya, Hodona Shone, Ona de Gega, and no Gakyongo, hoskanigetah. I'm also known by the English name of Kelly Curley. The reason we're here and speaking out against this development is the runoff is going to enter into that stream which eventually runs into the Grand River. The Grand River is very polluted today. To add more pollution to something that we're trying to clean up is irresponsible. I'm here to speak on behalf of those salamanders. They're little creatures, and most people are of the opinion, who's going to miss them? But what you do to Mother Earth, what you do to nature, you end up doing to yourself, and people don't understand that. Look at the foods we eat. That land is much better to produce crops as opposed to pollution. The foods we eat today, no matter where you buy them, are polluted. Polluted to such an extent that our youth are growing taller than ever before because of chemicals that is put in the foods. We have diseases, cancers. Those cancers cannot be, those chemicals that cause cancers cannot be taken out of the water. You have a filtration system that filters out certain heavy metals, but there's certain things that it doesn't affect. 6 Nations is in the process of getting a new water treatment plant. And with this added pollution to the river, because we take our water directly from the Grand River, the added pollution is just going to make that treatment plant work even harder. When I was a young kid, I could swim in that Grand River. I could drink it. Today I can't do that. I don't want to swim in that Grand River for fear of getting cancer, for fear of getting sick. And people have done that. When we look at development, we look at the modern world. What we see is development upon development. And no one is speaking out for Mother Earth. No one is speaking out for those animals that are going to be displaced. No one even cares. But what the elders told us was, what we do to Mother Earth, what we do to those animals, we do to ourselves. And Chief Seattle said it best back in 1768. What he says was, only when the last blade of grass is gone, only when the last drop of water is gone, only then will you realize you cannot eat money. And development is all about money. Donna.